Okay, guys, I got your feedback now. So, according to your feedback, I got most of you are not aware of Linux and OpenShift, and you don't have Red Hat login. So, I will work according to your given feedback. Right? So, so let's start the webinar. Okay. So first of all, I would like to welcome you all for joining this webinar. This is a webinar on Linux and OpenShift. So we'll talk on Linux and OpenShift today in this webinar. And today in this agenda, we will discuss about the Red Hat and Red Hat Academy. Okay. First, I saw many of guys not aware of Red Hat. What is Red Hat and what it means, what the company is working for. They don't have any idea for that. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll move further for Red Hat Academy. Okay, and we'll talk about the curriculum and certification for the Red Hat and the job scores for the Red Hat certified peoples. Okay, next we'll talk on Linux. Um, Probably most of you have got trained on Linux, so we will talk briefly on that Linux, and next we'll move to OpenShift. Okay, so in OpenShift we'll discuss thoroughly, and we'll see in details. Easy way we'll learn how OpenShift works and how it is helping the company and enterprise communities to leverage the benefits of OpenShift labs. Okay, so next we'll move to practical demonstration. For that we'll first register and we will set up our lab, and then we will deploy our application in the OpenShift lab. We'll see in the next in the last slide of this webinar. And in the last, that is your turn. After all, you need to ask the queries. If you have any queries and any questions while the webinar is going on, you can ask in the last of the event. Okay, so let's move on and kick off this webinar with our Red Hat. Okay, so what is mean by Red Hat? This is actually a American multinational software company, right? So which provides open source software to the enterprise. Okay, so it is founded in 1993. I know most of you are not like you can make confused in the word of open source. You can correlate this open source word with a situation like if you went to any temple, you can see their donation box, right? And the devotees would come there and they can just donate or contribute to this in the temple in the donation box, right? So in the same fashion, if the developer is developing any projects, right? While they are developing the project, if they made the project open source, what will happen is across the countries, across the globe, anyone can contribute to his software developer. Okay, whatever the software is developing, anyone can contribute. So that is the concept of open source software. Anyone can contribute and anyone can find bugs. A real live example of this is Arogya Setu app, right? The government has made the Arogya Setu app as open source, so that every person from all over the world, from every corner of the world, they will come and they will contribute to find bugs and vulnerabilities, right? Once they will find the vulnerabilities, they can inform the government, and the government can modify the application Arogya Setu, right? So that is the benefit of making any application, any software open source. So that is that is for what Red Hat is famous for. Uh, this company is first founded by Mark Ewing and Bob Young. Okay, so Mark Ewing has developed the Red Hat Enterprise Linux software, and along with Bob Young, with his mentorship, with his business entrepreneur experience, they developed the Red Hat to a great level, to extent level. Okay, so let's know about the Red Hat. Red Hat is well known for its open source, and it is the world's leader in open source and provider of the leading enterprise Linux platform. That means it is a leader in providing open source softwares, right? So till now they have delivered around 1 lakh plus projects to the enterprise, to the big companies, right? In the field of Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Red Hat JBoss middleware, Red Hat Enterprise virtualization, storage, OpenStack, OpenShift, CloudForms, and many more. So they are continuously growing their company to meet the customer needs. And even they have collaborated with Amazon, and Salesforce. There are many companies they have collaborated and they are providing the open source softwares to them, right? Even the Red Hat company, as recognized by Forbes as one of the world's most innovative companies in 2016. You can compare, you can see in the top of the slide that they got recognized by with these companies. Next, Red Hat company is positioned as a visionary in multiple Gartner Magic Quadrant in 2016. Basically, a Magic Quadrant is nothing but a company who is responsible for collecting the reports of marketing, and they have given the rating as visionary to the Red Hat. Visionary is nothing but basically a rating which is given to company through which if the company is delivering innovative softwares, innovative ideas to the end clients, to the customers, right? Now coming to our Red Hat Academy, they have partnership with Linux leaders to deliver a superior learning experience to the students. Okay, so Red Hat is academy which provides a curriculum to help education institutions to keep pace with the demands of industry, just trained to make the student job ready, right? So we'll see the statistic. Before that, we'll talk about just a few points about Red Hat Academy. They just train to make the Red Hat students job ready, right? With industry oriented trainings in the field of Linux, middleware, Ansible automation, cloud, DevOps, etc. And all these trainings are based on Red Hat Enterprise Linux, which we'll discuss in the upcoming slides. Okay. Red Hat Academy, rather than focusing on theoretical skill, they focus merely on learning practical skills. That is what Red Hat Academy is very well known for, right? They just focus on practical skills more than theoretical skills. So we have statistics collected by Red Hat Academy from students and industries, which I will show you now. That you can see here, above more than 90% of Fortune Global 500 companies rely on Red Hat. Means the students who are trained in Red Hat Academy and certified in Red Hat Academy, the companies, more than 500 companies, they are recruiting them. They are waiting for the Red Hat to train the students, and they will give the students to the companies, right? And next we have above 96% of Red Hat students say they are better prepared to maximize the value of the Red Hat technology investment. Whatever the investment they are doing while learning the technologies in Red Hat Academy, they feel that they are preparing to maximize the investment which are going to pay to the Red Hat Academy, right? And next, 83% of Linux job postings seek Red Hat certified professionals. So if you are a Red Hat certified professional and if you want a job in Linux field, then there is a 83% of chance of getting a job, right? So this is the normal statistics which collected by Red Hat Academy from students and industries, right? So moving to next. So we'll discuss the Red Hat Academy program features. Okay. So first, there is we don't want any cost for the membership. It is free of cost, and as I already said, it's provide industry oriented trainings in the field of Linux, cloud, middleware, and and other technologies to make the students job ready, right? And even if you are a member of Red Hat Academy, there is a huge discount for the instructors and students. If you want to pay for the Red certifications and exams, you don't need to pay complete money. Just you'll just get a 50% discount and 70% discount in the if you are a membership of Red Hat Academy. Next, if you are a membership, you have a member of a Red Hat Academy, you will get HTML course materials in the form of ebooks, HTML, even a printed one. And even you will get a flexible lab option to help the academies accommodate the students. You will be having your own lab for the practice purpose, for the training purpose. And then next, you will be amazed to know that the training and courses which we are having in the Red Hat Academy, they range up to 9 languages. You can get the language in 9 different languages, right? So next, talking about curriculum and certification. Red Hat Academy provides numerous amount of course and certification in the field of Linux middleware and cloud computing and Ansible automation and many more. So from that we'll discuss for core system administration. Okay, so core system administration is which work on Red Hat Enterprise Linux. It has three modules which you will learn to deploy, administrate, and manage and secure the Red Hat Enterprise Linux operating system. So don't worry about these things. We'll discuss in the next slides what is operating systems and what is Linux Enterprise Linux. We'll discuss all those things. So don't worry about that. Just focus on what the curriculum and certification which we are providing for the students to make them job ready. Okay, so we have three modules to prepare for them to make to become a system administrator. Okay, next we have middleware development. Under middleware development we have two courses which we provide, that is Red Hat application development and Red Hat application development implementing microservices architectures. These are the courses in which we provide in under middleware development. Next, moving to cloud computing, we provide two courses, that is OpenStack and OpenShift. Okay, so from that today we are also going to discuss on OpenShift. Okay, that comes under cloud computing. Next, the certification which are provided by Red Hat Academy are the first one, that is RSCSA, that means Red Hat Certified System Administrator. Once you complete the system administrator all the courses, you need to have an exam. If you pass the exam, you will be called a certified professional in the field of system administrator. Okay, moving to the next, Red Hat Certified Engineer. This is also an advanced level of system administrator. If you complete the certification of RSCSA, you are supposed to do this certification. Next certification is Red Hat Certified Enterprise Application Developer, and then we have RSCEMD, Red Hat Certified Enterprise Microservices Developer. So in our college also there is I think 7 to 9 students are certified in RSCSA. So that is the first level, and if you want to come to next level, you need to work on RSCE. So this is the certification which are provided by Red Hat Academy, right? So coming to our college, you will be glad to know that our college has been in partnership with Red Hat Academy. So we have our own Aditya Red Hat Academy, right? So which are the benefits which you are going to get in Aditya Academy are, first of all, you will get your own Red Hat library, where if you have any further queries, if you if you want to get any further knowledge, you can get into library and you can read the books which we have for the Red Hat peoples. You can read there. That is free of cost. Next one, we have our dedicated lab. That means for Red Hat students, we have our dedicated lab. You can use at any time. It will be your personal. It will be like your personal laptop or your own system, where you will be having your own password and username, and through that you can enter into your system and you can practice your own curriculum and certifications. Moving to next, that is in-campus testing center. For suppose if you have completed a training part, next you will be looking forward for the certification, right? So for the certifications, if you are willing to give exam or test for the certifications, you don't need to go any other place, another Red Hat test center. Just you need to be in the campus. You can give the exam and you can pass there itself, and you can get the certificate. So you don't need to move anywhere. Next benefits which you are going to get is, if you are a member, if you are a trainee of Aditya Red Hat Academy, you are going to get a practice portal where you can practice any number of courses, whatever the courses you are learning. If you want to practice more even, you can get you can practice there along with quizzes and some course materials along with that. Okay, so next is discount. As I already said, if you are a member of Aditya Red Academy, you will be getting a discount, more than 50% discount if you are a member of Aditya Red Academy. Whatever the price will be, you will get 50% discount on that given price. Okay, so this is the most important benefits which you are going to leverage by our Aditya Red Hat Academy. So most of the people ask, what if I get certified in Reddit Academy? What if I certified in Reddit Technologies? So yes, there is a huge number of job scopes which I will tell you now. The average salary of the support engineers and system administration is above than 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs. You can see here for the intern salaries at Red Hat is even 22,520 rupees per month. If you are a Red Hat certified professional and if you got internship at Red Hat, you can have a stipend of 22,520 means per month. That is really value a lot more. So next, you can see 1,500 plus companies are recruiting system administrator itself in India. So no need to go anywhere. You can get your job in the India itself because there is a 1,500 plus companies requiring their system administrators for the companies. Because in every company you can suppose having data center, you can have a server inside the company. So all the companies need system administrator, right? So of course you can get the jobs in every companies because then all the companies need system administrator who will look after all the servers, all the users within the campus, within the companies, right? So next, we have 250 plus post for the Red Hat certified professional. So if you are a certified professional on Red Hat technologies, there is 250 plus post for the Red Hat certified professionals. That means in each company there will be 250 plus post for the Red Hat certified professionals. That will be ranged from one lower to higher. That doesn't matter, but then the count matter, right? So in if you calculate in one company we have 250 posts, so you can assume you can calculate how the number of posts will increase in if you calculate for 1,500 companies, right? That's a great deal, right? Next, if you want to if you don't believe on my points, then you can just go to our redhat.com link and you can search for your jobs. If you are Red Hat certified professional, you can even apply for that in this given link. Now, if you are certified in the Red Hat Academy, the companies which you are going to be recruited by them are Honeywell, HP, Wipro, Cisco, IBM, Amazon, Tata Consultancy Service, and even Infosys, and even many more MNCs, right? So if you are certified, then of course this company will you are going to be recruiting you, right? So next, you can see in our Aditya Red Academy, we have our own authorized and certified instructors, Mr. Viravu sir, Mr. Saifuzama sir, and Vijay Kumar. So we have three instructors in our campus who is going to train you 24/7. If you need any assistance, you can contact them at any point of time. Maybe with you can contact them in a technical hub. That's very good for us in if you are in Altera Academy. You can contact at any time if you have any doubt throughout the course, right? So next, the first topic which we are going to discuss is Linux, right? So probably most of you know about Linux, but for the peoples who don't know about Linux, let me tell you, Linux is nothing but Unix like open source and community developed operating system for which is capable of handling activities from multiple users at the same time. So Linux is open source. As I said, what the importance of open source, right? But the sad thing is, unfortunately, we have only 2.06% of total world population are using Linux. So that is very a sad count, right? But that is about whole population. But if we count for the servers, there is 67% of chance. Like the 67% of world world web servers relies on Linux for their use. That's a good news, right? And fortunately, we have 83.1% of total developers all over the world are using Linux. That is a very good news. So that's the big thing. Like if a person is technical, they can easily work on Linux. That's a big reason for this count. So next, if we if you want to know that Linux whether it is good for us or it's not, so we can decide on certain features, right? So is it good to say Linux is good for us? No, right? We need some basic criteria to compare with something, and on based on those criteria, we can conclude that yes, it is good or it is bad. So what we'll do is we'll compare the Linux with Windows. Okay, so we'll compare this with Linux. So let's compare it. First one, Linux versus Windows. In Linux, it is open source. As I already said, the source code of Linux means what I mean by source code is the developer who developed the software. The, yes, the developer who developed the software, the code will be open for everyone. Means anyone can get the access of the source code and they can make their own operating system. They can make their own flavors of Linux. But Windows, it's proprietary. Means only the few people have the access to Windows who are working in a Microsoft company. We normal people, we don't have this access to modify the source code, right? So that is a there where the Linux wins. And next, moving to next point, that is CLI based. Linux is command line interface based, right? And Windows is GUI based. What I mean by this point is, in Linux we will do our day-to-day task in command line, and in Windows we will do by graphically. Okay, so because of this point, Linux appears to be very less for the few peoples, and in Windows it appears very more because it's graphical. Means even non-technical users can use the Windows easily. If you will go to the shop, right? You might have went to shop and we have asked the shopkeeper that yes, if you have any laptop, show me. And if you want to buy a laptop, there is a very big chance, there is very great chance to get a laptop with a pre-installed Windows. Am I right? So yes, you will, if you buy a laptop, there is a very large probability that you will get the laptop with Windows, because even non-technical users can easily handle those operating system by clicking the buttons, by seeing the images, and whatever the things is there. By navigating the buttons, they can easily understand what happening is there. Okay, okay. And Linux, there's nothing like so. We need to know the command line. We need to know the commands to handle those. That's why it is very broadly used by only technical users. They need to use command line, and it is not so much difficult. Once you learn the commands, it will be very easy to understand how it's working. It's very easy, right? So next, Linux. Linux is free, whereas Windows cost around $99, 199. So we are talking about Linux and Windows for, because Linux is a free. Anyone can get the access and can use this Linux, but in Windows we need to pay for that, right? So that is a one disadvantage of Windows. Next thing, Linux is more secure and reliable, whereas Windows is less secure and reliable, because Linux comes with CLI that majorly works on command line interface. That's the reason becomes for the more secure and reliable operating system among the Windows, right? So coming to the next thing, the kernel. Linux uses the monolithic kernel and Windows uses microkernel. What it means? The monolithic kernel means the large processes comes under a single address space, right? So they can easily access the process. They can easily communicate with the process. So that makes the Linux very faster and very robust. Okay, but in Windows, the microkernel, that it divides the whole large process into sub process, and they need some interface to communicate with that. That makes us a bit slower than Linux. That's why the Linux is preferred by most of the developers to develop softwares. That is because it's robust and it's fast in nature. Okay, moving to next. In Linux, we have a numerous amount of customizable options, and we have various distributions, and we will see it in the next slides how it is customizable. And but in Windows, we have very less customization option, which you have seen. I think we have seen, like we don't have right to modify and customize the Windows. right? But in Linux we have. And moving to the next point, that is in Linux, it is developed and collaborated with the number of peoples and monitored by the community. So if in case if you need any help, if you need to solve any issues, you can just post your query or your issues in the discussion forums, and even you can get a reply in a few minutes. But in Windows, you need to file a report, and then the person from Microsoft company will contact you and will solve the problem. That is a bit lengthy from the as compared to Linux. So that this is the basic difference of between Linux and Windows. Based on that, we can say we can use Linux because we are the students, we are the technical users, right? We want robust systems, we want secure systems, we want reliable systems, right? So that is a big difference. Even we want open source because we are the technical users. If we want to modify, then in the Linux you can get the access to modify, but in Windows you can't, right? So that's the main difference of Linux and Windows. So as I said, Linux is open source, secure, reliable. There is many customizable options in Linux. That's the big point of having a numerous number of distributions in Linux. We have around 600 distribution in Linux. You may have doubt that what I mean by distributions, right? So distribution is nothing but, as if I compare this thing from Windows, we have Windows XP, Windows 10, Windows 7. We have numerous amount of um, operating system flavors, right? So as similar to that, we have 600 flavors, or we can say distribution of Linux, right? So that's a big difference between Linux and Windows. Anyone can modify the source code and the kernel and can make their own. For suppose if my name is Ravi Shankar, then I can make my own operating system that will be called Ravi Shankar Linux, for suppose. So you can make your own because we are technical users. Even we can modify and we can develop our own only in Linux, not in Windows, right? So from these, among this all, we have several number of important, which is popular flavors of Linux. That is RHEL, that is Red Hat, Fedora, Kali, SUSE, Ubuntu, Debian, and CentOS. They have all have their own purpose of using operating system distributions. Like if you are using Red Hat, then there will be more chance to you are handling servers. If you are using Fedora, it is a free source version of Linux, Red Hat Linux. Next, if you are using Kali, you are it is used for offensive security, for pen testers, and even for security researchers, right? If you are using SUSE, again it's used for servers. Ubuntu, it is used for developers. Debian, it is used by graphical purpose, and CentOS is also used for managing servers. So throughout this our training, we will be using our Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and in this year we have updated one, that is RHEL 8. Previously we were having RHEL 7, but now throughout the course, throughout the training, we will be working on Red Hat 8. That is the updated version of RHEL 7. So let's talk about OpenShift, right? So the main topic for today is OpenShift. We'll talk in detail in an easy way, in the easy language, right? So in OpenShift, if I'll just read out the points, that is OpenShift is a family of containerization software developed by Red Hat, right? It works on on-premises platform as service built around Docker containers and on top of Kubernetes, which is founded by Red Hat Enterprise Linux, right? So I think all of you have doubt on what you're talking about Dockers, containers, and Kubernetes. We are not well aware of these things. So how can I understand? Yeah, your doubt is valid. So I'm going to tell you what did you mean by containerization, platform as a service, Docker, containers, Kubernetes. We'll discuss all these points in this upcoming slides, right? So let's talk about first Docker. You might have heard about Dockers in the real life. We have a Docker who is a person who is responsible for the load and unload of containers in the ship, right? Like in the trading purpose, we need the companies need to we need to load the containers, means the materials, the goods to the ships to transport from one port to another port. That is a person called docker, right? So in the similar fashion, the docker works. So what docker says is, you if you are a developer, you no need to you no need to debug your environment. Just you need to debug your app, not your environment. So it is also called a Docker is the heart of application development, right? So let's talk about this topic, right? Docker is a tool that allows developers and system administrators to easily deploy their application in a sandbox called containers to run on a host operating system. Okay, so let's like if you are developing a software, like let's say the current scenario, if you are developing a software which will give the status of COVID-19 patient. If you develop the software, the problem you will face is, like if you are working on a company, for suppose if you're working company and your clients have gave order to develop the software, and you have a time of 7 days suppose, and you have developed successfully, but you need to deliver to your client, right, to your customer. But unfortunately the person, your client, has no idea how to install it, how to set up the environment. So this becomes a big problem for us, because we can't go to them, and we can't give assistance to how to install environment, how to install the softwares and all, right? So what we do, we just collect the all the software packages and their dependencies, and we can store it in a single container, right? And we can make a sandbox like things, and we can make an image, and you can deliver the container, right? If you will deliver the container, it will automatically install all the related dependencies, and it will set up the environment automatically. That's the benefit of Docker. Next, to make the Docker more friendly, user friendly, to more comfortable, Docker provides a client plus CLI based workflow. That means even you can work with Docker with using the command line interface. By using the commands, you can easily manipulate, you can easily build your applications, you can share your application, you can run in a containerized application using the CLI. That's the most important thing. And yes, Docker, since the Docker is a CLI based, you can easily configure, you can easily build the packages, you can build the containers with a very fast rate, right? And you can easily deploy and undeploy your application in the faster rate, and you can even start and stop as you wish, whenever you want, right? And Docker, since Docker is a containerized image, even you can share in any combination of clouds, because it is containerized, is an image file, you can share to anyone, right? So you can share it across any combination of clouds, and even you will get support of Kubernetes from for orchestration across hybrid architectures. Okay, so this is the 4 points which I thought of this is important for you to know. So moving to next, we have Docker, some features of Dockers, that is simplicity, agility, and choice. I think you might have cleared what the features is telling about. Simplicity means it is very simple to use Docker. Just you can use the commands to deploy, to undeploy, and to ship to the customers. It is very simple, and even because of CLI, it becomes very speed. It gives agility to the developers, and you have a range of choices because of this CLI based features, right? So there's a three important features which is very important to know about Docker. So now I think some people still have confusion. What is containers? What is all this containers is all about? Is it something like this, which is used for trading purpose, for shipment, or is a lunchbox? You may have a doubt what container means. Yes, you are right. You are thinking right. It is something like this containers, where, for suppose if you are talking about this container, there in this container we used to contain all the goods which is to be traded, which is to be transported to the other clients, right? So that's the basic thing, right? So the our OpenShift containers also works in a similar fashion. We collect all the packages and the dependencies in a single container, and we make their image file, and we can easily transport it to our clients, right? So container is a standardized unit of software. It packs all software in a single unit that can be further used by development, shipment, and deployment. If you want to develop, then you can just load all the packages in a Docker in a form of containers. You can see there is a 6 containers: A B app A, app B, app C, app D, app E, app F. These all are the containers, right? And we can send the file, you can send the container to your client, and they can easily deploy. For the deployment purpose, they can easily install that container, and they can easily leverage the features, right? So you can see the infrastructure. On top of that, we have host operating system, we have Docker, and on top of Docker, we used to collect all the application in the form of containers. This is all the containers: app F, app P, app D, app C, app B, app A. This all are the containers which is we are going to use for the shipment, development, and deployment. Okay, so so you can compare these things in the similar fashion. How the companies are trading their goodies to other clients using the containers, right? In one container, they pack their goods, and they make their numerous number of containers, and they can ship their huge number of containers to the clients. There's a basic thing. So I think you have a good idea of containerization. Not exactly like containers, but you have a basic idea which is similar to that, which is VirtualBox, right? Virtualization is also works on the same manner, but the difference is in the containers, it just virtualize the host operating system. You can see here, it just virtualize the host operating system. But in virtual machine, it virtualize all the hardwares. It virtualize whole operating system along with their binaries files, along with the hardware files, right? It virtualize the hardware. So that the basic difference between container and VirtualBox, you can compare it. No, there is one difference. So you might have think like, which one is good, whether containers is good or virtual machine is good. Let's see. Containers take less space than VMs because it just virtualize the host machine, right? Host operating system. But in case of virtual machine, it make copies of all these components, all the operating system files and binaries and all the libraries, which make the file up to 10 GB of GBs, right? That is a very big data that can make your VM virtual